After vending at about 30 different vintage markets and hosting 8 of those markets ourselves, I've come to see these same patterns, these same little things that you can do that make a big difference in how people view your items, how they can see the value in those items, how you can get top dollar for them, and have people be repeat customers if you do that same market again, or if you do another market in the same area. So I'm gonna share with you guys those 6 tips, and they should make a really big difference, even if you only implement 1 or 2 of them. So the first one, and this one costs you nothing, it is an instant fix and can make a big difference, and that is not overpacking your racks. I can't tell you enough to not overpack your racks because it has so many negative aspects to it. 1, it makes it literally physically hard for you to search for your items. You might be someone that sources your items from the thrift store and you have no problem looking at every single piece, no matter how packed it is, no matter how raggedy the thrift store is, you will uncover every single piece to try to find the best stuff you can get. But for the average person, someone that's going to a vintage market because they don't want to do the digging, they don't want to feel like they're having to look at a billion different things to hopefully find one nice thing that they want you to do that heavy lifting so then they can pay the 20, 30, 40 or more dollars for a piece. So it makes sense to have your racks be breathable, make sure it's easy for people to look at every individual piece. Our racks that we utilize are about 6 feet, and we typically only put about 30 pieces on the rack. Maybe a little bit less if they're jackets and heavier things. Maybe we'll do like 40 or so if it's more so t-shirts and thinner items, but do not overpack your items. If anything, have a couple bags of some extra stuff if the market is going well and you are selling out that you can restock the racks with. But if someone has to do an arm workout just to look at the items in your rack, they're more likely to just leave your booth all entirely because it's too much work, and they'd rather go to someone that has done a more meticulous job of making the rack very easy to shop. Plus it makes your booth seem that much more curated and that much more meticulous and thoughtful behind the stuff, not just you found a single stitch t-shirt and threw it on the rack. So do not overpack your racks. Tip number 2 is price things to move. Now if you see something listed online for $80 and you have it at the rack for $70, the average person does not understand how much an item typically goes for. Pretty much every single person there is just window shopping, see what catches their eye, see if there's something that they like, and if they do see something they like, they're like, oh, this is a cool shirt, or this is a cool sweatshirt, and it's priced at $70, they might think that's totally crazy. So price it competitively, price it at $60, $50, maybe even more if you can afford to do so, especially if you got the item for a few bucks. But if there's an item that you know goes for a high price online, you're better off just listing it online, or at least have it listed online and then bring it to the market as well and see if you can get some bites. When I used to sell stuff online, I would exclusively have stuff that I would list online and stuff that I would just bring to markets. I would know that in my local areas, people typically want to pay 20, 30, 40 bucks. That's the bread and butter. That's what stuff that moves quickly. As soon as you start trickling past the 50, you start hitting the $100 marks, starting the $200 marks, the chance of that item moving is so much less unless you live in a very large area where there's a lot of people that are very much into vintage and they understand it's a pricier item. Like for example, Carhartt. We just had a market this past Sunday and there's tons of people that had $100 Carhartts, $200 Carhartts plus, and they all move pretty well, mostly because we're in the middle of winter. But people know vintage Carhartt's expensive and they'll pay up for it. But if you have some random t-shirt that goes online for $150 and you're asking $120, a lot of people might not even give it a second thought and just totally go past it. Now tip number 3, and this is not necessarily a pricey one, it can be, but if you're someone that does markets regularly, and I'm saying like once or twice a month, if not more, I highly recommend you have uniform hangers. Perception is everything. Why do people go and pay thousands of dollars at Louis Vuitton or Christian Dior? It's because when you walk in, everything's elegant. All the furniture is nice. All the hangers are nice. All the lighting and the whole ambiance of the store is very upscale to make you want to pay for a very expensive handbag, for a very expensive coat. So if I go to your booth and I see a bunch of plastic hangers mixed with wooden hangers, mixed with the clear hangers, mixed with like velvet hangers, it just seems really cheap, and then it makes it harder for me to see the value in the item that you're trying to sell. But now if you have uniform hangers, it is another way to elevate your booth, make your rack look better, make the item look better sitting on the rack, and someone can then see the value of that item a little bit more clearly, and you're much more likely to make a sale. I have almost from the get-go always used all wood hangers for my markets. I'm not saying you have to do that. You can just use all the same color hanger. I don't personally recommend the velvet ones. Those to me personally seem really cheap, unless you're like you sell femme stuff, you sell like Y2K stuff, then I could see it being that way because it's a little bit more delicate, more lightweight stuff. But like if you're putting sweatshirts on velvet hangers, you're putting jackets on velvet hangers, it just seems cheap in my mind personally. Let me know what you think about that. But without even spending the money on wood hangers, just having the hangers look all the exact same comes off as much cleaner, much nicer. However, again, if you're someone that's doing markets regularly, once or twice a month, if not more, I recommend starting to invest in wood hangers. Not necessarily saying you gotta have 5 racks worth of wooden hangers, but maybe the rack that you put all your higher price stuff on, you put all your more rare stuff on, that you buy 24 to 48 wood hangers and all the expensive items get put on those wood hangers. Again, increasing that perception of that value of what the item is, and then you slowly keep investing in getting more wood hangers. And plus they break less often. When you actually take the item off the rack, it feels that much more hardy and just like all around really, really good investment. Now, number 4 is also another cheap option to do, and that is get business cards. Every single person you sell to should get a business card, or every single person that you just chat up with and hangs out at your booth for a little bit of time should get a business card. Now, a common mistake I see a lot of people do with those business cards is putting like all the different ways you can pay them. They put their Instagram and their TikTok and their Snapchat or whatever. They put all these different things on there. And here's the thing, think about it from a customer. I'm someone going to a vintage market. I'm looking at all these different booths. I stop at your booth. You have some nice stuff. I maybe buy something, or I almost bought something that didn't fit me quite right though, but we're talking, we're having a good time, and then you hand me your business card. I'm not gonna follow your Instagram and your TikTok and all these different things and check out your Depop and your eBay and your Mercari or whatever else there is. All I wanna do is just see one of those platforms. So I recommend posting the one platform you are most likely to be active on, and the one selling place, if you do sell online, that you're most likely to be active on. That way, if there's someone like, okay, I did buy something from you, or I would like to buy something from you, I can go to this main selling platform you have, check your, stay up to date on there and see what you have in stock. And then, okay, maybe I do want to follow you and keep up to date with the next market you're going to be at, even if it's at a different market or it's on the other side of town. I can then stop in and see what you have then, so they'll follow you there. So having a business card, clean, minimal, 1 to 2 ways they can stay in touch with you or continue to shop with you is very powerful. Now, number 5 is a pricier one, but again, if you're someone that's doing markets pretty consistently, it is very much worth the investment, and that is getting sturdy racks. Tying it back into that perceived value of having nicer things, having the items displayed on good hangers, on a nice sturdy rack, it just makes your booth seem that much nicer. Also, they're less likely to break on you when you're setting them up and tearing them down regularly. Also, they can typically hold more items at these nicer racks. The more flimsy ones, kind of like you put 10 heavy things on there and they're kind of falling side to side. And if I'm someone, I go to your booth and I'm trying to look through the stuff and I'm feeling like, oh snap, this rack's about to fall over or break, I might not feel inclined to touch it and might just go on to the next booth. I understand if you've only done a couple markets, you want to go in and just get a couple cheap racks, but if you plan on doing markets consistently, even if you've only done 1 or 2 in the past, it is very, very much worth the investment, and you can get them typically pretty regularly on Facebook Marketplace. There's the kind that fold in on themselves you can get for like 40 to 60 bucks, and there's the more hardier Z racks that I see on Facebook Marketplace all the time. If you see someone selling them and they're like an hour away, it is super worth going and snagging them. And it's something that, like, at the end of the day, it is an investment into your business, into your pop-ups, but they'll always have resale value. They are always coming and going on Facebook Marketplace. I see it every single day. So just spend the money on it, and trust me, you will be so happy you did in the long run versus wasting the money on the Walmart ones that are gonna break after 2 times, because those ones aren't typically meant to be set up and tear down. They're meant to be popped up every so often. But if you're serious about the game, get some nice racks. All right, now the last tip, and arguably one of the most powerful tips I would say for someone like me at least, and how I am as a customer, how I want to have an experience when I go to a vintage market or just shop in general, is you want to look approachable. You want to not be on your phone staring down at the ground. You want to not have a scowl on your face like you're pissed off, or you're thinking about work the next day, or you're thinking about, you're having a tiff with your partner or something like that. You are there to make money, but you're having a good time. Making money at vintage markets is a blast, and I would not rather be doing many other things to make money, because it's just like you bonding with over cool clothes, the stuff you curated, people enjoying your curation, coming to shop with you, and you could be making hundreds of dollars an hour just to stand around and talk about cool clothes. So always look approachable. I'm not saying you gotta, like, when someone walks in your booth, like, go shake their hand and like ask them their name or anything like that. But you know, every time you make eye contact with someone, as you should be making eye contact when they come into your booth, say hi, nice to see you. Maybe mention if you're having some type of sale or special, you know, get 2 items and get a discount or something like that. Just look like you could be friends with somebody and look like, you know, you might see that person again. They might enjoy your curation and want to shop with you again. But if you look annoyed or you look bored or you look angry and they do something in your booth that they like, they might not want to shop with you again. They might just get the item and they'll say, okay, peace out. So always just have fun and make sure that you are giving a great experience to the people that are coming to shop with you, and then you're more likely to come back and shop with you again. So those are the 6 simplest and like pretty affordable tips that I would recommend. If you have any others that I missed that I should have included, leave them down below in the comments for anyone else to check out as well. But if you implement just a few of those, I promise you that it'll make a big difference and you will see more revenue when you do these vintage markets. I can guarantee it. All right, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like and we'll see you in the next one.